You're listening to Making the Cut, the mostly true life story of a retired surgeon from 1C Productions.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Seitz, founder and president of 1C Productions. This episode contains explicit language and adult content. It is intended for mature audiences only.
The part of my story that I share with you today is a particularly difficult and dark one. I hesitated to share it with you at all. However, I think it is important. Medical school is demanding, akin to a boot camp. The first 18 months period of grueling academic demands without seeing a patient is particularly challenging. And then there is the burden of the family's expectation. Some can withstand the stresses better than others. Some dropped out, others chose a different career path. And then there was poor Isaac.
After a few months, I established a pattern of frequently returning to my room after a refractory breakfast to read about conditions, symptoms, or diseases and the treatments of patients I had encountered. My mind felt clearest and least cluttered in the morning, particularly after having lain in Victoria's arms the previous day. By noon, I made my way downstairs, passing the open door of a classmate, Isaac. He lay on his bed, throwing a tennis ball against the wall, then catching it over and over. The room was barren, devoid of personal touches, no pictures, books, or photos. I paused in his open doorway. "Aren't you coming to Smith's post-mortem?" Each time his answer was the same.
"I feel grotty."
Grotty? I do not know this word.
Yeah, you know what it's like. When you're feeling grotty, stick a finger up your body and the whole world is a different place.
Seeing me smile, he continued singing.
When you're feeling glum, stick a finger up your bum.
I smiled again, more cautiously this time. Was he depressed? He seemed to be, but did I really know enough yet to entertain such an idea? Maybe he was gay and trying to deal with his feelings or needed a break from school.
I just see no use in continuing with this medical stuff.
Really? Is it not your bag, then?
No. I only do it because my dad wants me to become a doctor. You know, the whole Jewish thing. It's all these exams.
It is a lot. Listen, if you aren't coming to class... What should I make of Isaac and his situation? The enormous workload of learning left no room to truly consider it and work out whether I had a duty to fulfill. My plate already overflowed with assigned readings, examinations, and continuing to build a relationship with Victoria. I resolved to check on Isaac again at a later date. A few days later, I stopped in the doorway once more. "Hello? Coming?"
No. I'm not going to lectures or wards anymore.
A smile crossed his face, and even without a mustache, he had an uncanny resemblance to Groucho Marx. I wondered what had made him smile. He turned to me.
When asked to give the etiology of the disease in the exam, I thought of mentioning the first and second causes that come to mind and adding, to name but a few.
I entered his room and sat on the edge of his bed. It felt important to say my suspicion aloud. You sound depressed. Tears formed in his eyes. His lower lip quivered. He rolled toward me, laying his face against my thigh. His whole body shook as I placed my arm around him. I was in new territory. What should I do? He needed professional help beyond our potential friendship. And yet, to whom did one go in this situation? Who was responsible for the health of medical students? I searched my mind and could not come up with a responsible person. Do you want to join me in the refectory for lunch? We can talk.
No, I'll be all right.
Have you spoken to your mother?
My mother? No, I'll be all right.
Do you have a close friend? Perhaps a girlfriend or a boyfriend who I can call and who can come and visit you?
No, I'll be all right.
I arose, casting about for anything else I might do to help him. I could come up with nothing. I went on my way to class, alarmed but also baffled. We had academic advisors assigned to us when we crossed Gower Street. I had met mine a few times, and he was my antithesis. He was an introverted clinical chemist, very conservative, if not bitter, with life. I did not feel he would be sympathetic to Isaac's dilemma, and I failed to ask the beadle, a compassionate and knowledgeable man who might have had an answer. I resolved to check on Isaac again the next day. The next day, I passed Isaac's open door. His room was empty, his mattress rolled up. Had he left, after all, then? Quit medical school? I went on to class and asked if anyone knew where Isaac had gone. No one would tell me with words, but their faces told me everything I needed to know. Isaac had ended his life. A knot instantly formed in the pit of my stomach. I retraced my steps to my room and curled up on my bed. I held myself with my arms about me. Why did he do this instead of just quitting? How did Isaac end up like this, and not me? Why did it occur to him as an option? How many times had I nearly given up, just like him? How many times had I been despondent, just like him? And who had been there to console me? I could not get Isaac's face out of my mind. His image frightened me. I remembered him greeting me while we were at University College the year before. Had he been trying to reach out to me then? How was it possible that someone so depressed could joke? His pattern of behavior confused me. I had failed to help a fellow student, a fellow Beni Adam, human being. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my friend. I let you down. I kept repeating to myself aloud, I'm sorry. So sorry. I sat up. I could not imagine any situation where I could not find a way to resolve life's dilemma. Even after my father's death, when I was left with no Egyptian societal support, an aging infirm grandfather, and impotent uncles and cousins, ending my life wasn't on my mind. Life was sufficiently good to extract something out of it. How did Isaac not know this? Not see it for himself? Wherever you are now, friend, I hope you're happier.
I will always remember him for his strange humor at a time when he was most in need of help. Suffering is part of the human condition. We will all feel it at some time or another. How we bear its burden, though, differs widely. For all of my confessions here about internal psychological struggles caused by my childhood wounds, the route that Isaac took never occurred to me as an option. His death felt to me like such a waste. As John Watson reminded us all, be kind. Everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle.
If you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, please call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Help is available.
You've been listening to Making the Cut from 1C Productions. Making the Cut was written, produced, and directed by Rebecca Seitz, based on Michael McGead's manuscript, Mastering the Knife. Noah James played Michael McGead. The role of Isaac was brought to life by the voice talent of Harvey Miller. Audio engineering provided by Zisher LLC. Making the Cut theme music by Kyle J. Baker. Learn more at makingthecutpodcast.com.